Today's adventure saw me driving up to the Central Highlands to the small village of Kinlochrannoch, which is located at the far eastern end of Lochrannoch. You joined me arriving in the small public car park after what had been an early start and a long drive up from Ayrshire, through what had been some fairly grim weather. The rain had only stopped within the last hour or so. At this stage I was still wondering if it was indeed a good idea. But the weather was on the turn and certainly improving. Before I could get started, there was the usual rigmarole of unloading the bike, unpacking the bags, repacking the bags, and generally readying all the things. Anyway, eventually I was off, and today's route saw me setting off westwards alongside the north side of Lochrannoch on a short section of tarmac road. Alright, morning. Welcome back to the channel. Yeah, the climbing's kind of already started. Yeah, I'm on my own today. Well, various reasons. Unfortunately, the wife got some very sad news. We got some sad news, so she's had to head back to the States. So it'll just be on me on my own. I'm afraid you have to put up with me. Yeah, but back out again. It's been a funny year. I don't know how you guys have been, but just haven't really gotten out that much. Been working overseas, weather. The car even broke down. I was off the road for 3 weeks, something like that. Definitely missed a trip because of that, at least one anyway. But anyway, yeah, managed to get out and just kind of getting the tail end of summer. Well, I think that's over optimistic. I think we're definitely well into autumn. The colours are going, the ferns are changing colours, the leaves in the trees. I actually prefer this kind of weather in a way. It's a bit cooler as well. After the kind of hot September we had, it's definitely cooled off. Aye, so where am I? Well, places we've been before. Well, I've been here actually, or me and the wife have been here before. Not my intention today, not that full, but up this bit. It's where I'm waffling on. We're just north of Lochrannoch. So we've come along Lochrannoch, parked in Kinlochrannoch, come along the side of Lochrannoch, swung a right up into the trees, and it's this old drove road that goes up to Lochgarry. It's quite well trodden, or well tired. Yeah, it's got a few things on the way to have a look at and see, and then going to head up into the hills, which could be interesting. So I'm not very hill fit, but we'll see. Anyway, yeah, well, glad you can join us and or join me, and yeah, come along. Right, so we've come a little bit further up the track, not very much further actually from where I just spoke to you a minute ago, but there's a interesting, what do you call it? I think it's an artistic thing. It's not a sculpture, it's like it's a building basically. And it's called a Sky Space, I believe, and apparently these are scattered, well, all over the world, and this is the only one in Scotland. So yeah, let's take a little look. It's just 2 minutes walk off the road, if you like, down this kind of path. So we're going to have a little look. Right, here we are. It's very echoey in here. It's like a small room. basically a hole in the roof and a kind of framed view of the sky, I guess, kind of textureless, or it would be if it wasn't flipping coming up, but yeah, interesting, I guess a little bit arty, but a fun thing, maybe not what you'd expect if I don't live in the Scottish Hills, but yeah, anyway, worth 2 minutes walk off the road, come and see, and yeah, anyway, time to get back to the bike, back on up into the hills. As lovely as the wooded section is up from Loch Rannoch, I was grateful to leave the trees behind and get out into the open, wilder lands. Climb up on the old drove road meant the views behind me were beginning to open up. I had intended to have lunch a little later, but the sun had come out and illuminated this little grassy lump at the side of the road. Anyway, I couldn't pass it up, so I sat for 15 minutes and had my cheese sandwiches. Soon enough, it was time to get back on the bike, as I still had a lot in front and work to do. Right, here we are at the bothy, Dunish bothy. I'll show you around. I've already been in, there's nobody home. It's quite dark, I don't know if that's working for you, but so this is the big room, fireplace. Yeah, there's a couple of sleeping platforms upstairs. Yeah, that's it. Not an awful lot to say. It's reasonably tidy. I've seen worse. I've probably seen better as well, but cool. Anyway, right. Dunish bothy is nestled between the small hill behind it you can see here and another opposing one that the camera is on. It makes for a sheltered spot and likely benefits in the more inclement weather. Anyway, I didn't linger long at the bothy. I'd already had my lunch and the climb was about to start in earnest. Right, so we've done the worst of the climbing. Well, actually, I don't know about that, but we've done the steep bit. It's yeah, it's very hiker-bikey back there, a bit boggy, and well, just too steep to be honest. But it's kind of par for the course nowadays, isn't it? So those of you that kind of know where I am and know these hills, I don't know, you might have figured out where I'm going, but basically it's up from the bothy, up from Dunish, and then there's a hill track that goes up towards Skynakvo, one of the Drumochter Munros. So we're on that. It kind of goes up and down, up a few ridges. Over there I think it's Craig Dube, and Ban Mam is another hump over there. I'll spin you around in a minute. And over right in the distance on the horizon is the target, is the Munro. It's 3:20 though, and yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna keep pushing on. We'll see. Hopefully we'll get there. But yeah, I'm just taking a rest because that was hard work. And now the sun's out. It's not very pleasant. Anyway, we better crack on. Right, well we're here. Yeah, I'm just getting the tent up. Yeah, time's getting on. But yeah, didn't do much filming on the way up there. I hope you forgive me. It was, you know, it's like you just go into this kind of dark place. Anybody that's done a fair bit of cycling will know what I mean. You kind of go tunnel vision and just weird. I just had to crack on. It was further than I thought. It always is further than I think. So yeah, apologies for that. But yeah, coming up the initial steep bit, yeah, I had to push most of that. I kind of knew that was going to happen. I was psychologically prepared for it. And then yeah, it's like most of these mountains. Once you get on the ridge, it's actually kind of doable. And the path was kind of came and went a bit. Well, I mean, it was always there, but it was proper kind of rocky at points. Anyway, slow progress, but that's good. It's all good fun, and you just as you're going up the ridge, and all you can see in front of you is this just a hump. You can't see much more than at most points, much more than 20-50 yards in front of you. So it's a little bit thankless, but I mean the view's open out behind you, of course. But I'll put some stuff up from that in a minute. But yeah. Anyway, we've got about. I think we've got about an hour. I don't know, an hour and 20 to sunset. I'm beyond hungry. I managed to get some water, so there's a little bit, and I checked this out on the map before so I kind of knew I'd better get water near the top, so I did that. So that's one chore squared away. So that's good. Yeah, but a beautiful evening, as you can see. And we spot. I'm about 50 yards, maybe it's more, maybe it's 100 yards from the top. I'll probably wander back over that way when I've got the food or a coffee or something. So, right. Anyway, I'll crack on with this just now because this looks like a bit of a shambles, and yeah, I'll bring you back when I've got some food and what have you on the go. With the tent up and coffee made, it was time to relax. So I took in my surroundings. The light was changing and the views were spectacular. Yes, even views of the A9 were a bit special. There, that's words I thought I'd never say. Off in the distance, I spied Schiehallion. It seemed we were always under its watchful eye. Anyway, with the sunset approaching, I popped back up to the summit to see if we'd get a worthy sunset. Right, that's back at the top. Yeah, it's beautiful. Let me just show you. I'm not sure how well it comes out in the wee action camera. I'm getting some footage with a bigger camera, so hopefully that'll do it some justice. But yeah, what have we got? Some clouds over Ben Lawes, I think. Schiehallion over there. Not sure on all these ones. I saw Ben Moore and Stolbinion before. I think it's over there in the that low cloud. Over towards Rannoch Moor that way, I think. Cool. And yeah, the mighty Ben Alder. And then the sun going down just above. I'm not sure what that one is actually. Yeah, I'd have to check. I won't say. Yeah, and then back across the Cairngorms. Yeah, lovely. It's quite chilly. What is it? Let's have a look at this. I've got one of these thingamabobs. Let's see. Put the temperature on. Where's the temperature? Degrees. 7.7. Yeah, there's no real wind. Very light. So it's actually, the forecast said it might get down to 1 tonight, so that's why I brought all the winter gear. I was like, no way I'm hanging around up here and not being warm. The weather forecast is, it's fine, it's clear tonight, but the winds are getting up and there's some rain coming in tomorrow. I mean, the rain doesn't come in until 4 o'clock or something, and that's kind of when the wind gets up to 40 miles an hour, what have you. I mean, I'll be well off the mountain by then, so I'm hoping I don't need to be hurried off. It'll be back the same way, I think. There is another route I can do, but it ends up down at the end of Lochgarry, and then you've got the boggy section to do. I don't know if you... Yeah, there's a section on that road where if you go between Drumochter and Loch Rannoch like I did, and there's a boggy section. I've done it before after, as long as it's not after rain, it's fine. But there has been rain, and yeah, I don't know. I think I'll probably just go the way I came, but we'll see. So enjoy this, and then I'll be back over to the tent for some food because I'm starving. Right. It's not every time you get decent sunsets on top of these mountains, so I sat and enjoyed the tranquility and views as the sun set before the dusk finally took over. Then it was back to the tent for a late dinner before getting down for the night, all the while wondering if the forecast of a clear morning would prevail. Morning. Yeah, not a lot to see. I'll show you. Yeah, it's all a bit pea soup, unfortunately. Anyway, I think it's time to... It's cold as well. I think it's time to get moving. Let's get the water on. Oh, it's coffee time. Well, as is often the case, the forecast got it completely wrong. I waited a while, but the clouds showed no sign of lifting. There was nothing for it to begin the morning's activities. Warm coffee and warm breakfast was the order of the day. Although it was very cold and damp, I think it was a few degrees above the forecasted 1 degree. I had slept warm by virtue of the winter kit I had brought, but truth be told, I could likely have got away without it, or at least some of it. Anyway, it was time to start packing up the tent, during which I had a few visitors, Munro baggers who stopped and chatted. Both also showed their disdain for the forecast. Still, hardy folk striking out nonetheless. Anyway, for me it was time to get off the mountain and head homeward bound. Back in the car finally. That was good. I mean, the rain came on not long, to be honest, not long after packed up the campsite. It wasn't forecast till 5 or 6 o'clock tonight, so that was a good 8 or 9 hours early. But it just goes to show you always need to be prepared. So the waterproofs are out and all the rest of it. It wasn't heavy rain; it was just kind of drizzling on for the most part, but. I pushed on, obviously, not wanting to hang around. It's a bit cold, the wind was up as well, although it's not as bad further down here, back in Kinlochrannoch and what have you. But no, it's a good route. I mean, I enjoyed it. It's quite heavy going. There's a lot of pushing. It's a slog across the top. the bit between Ban and Skagnac Vaux is quite flat, and I thought, I'd seen this on the map previously, so I thought, oh, that'll be fairly easy. Well, it's like that. It's pathless for the most part. There's kind of sphagnum moss, but I mean, it's dried out, but it's just so much friction. So even just going across there and the kind of flat stuff was hard work as well. So it was hard work all the way up, even on the pitch that wasn't that hilly. So yeah, I've kind of burnt myself out a bit, but it's good. I mean, if you're the sort of person that likes doing that sort of thing, then you'll know. But yeah, it's not for everybody, that's for sure. So I don't think the wife would have enjoyed that one. But anyway, so right, well, I guess I better go. I did try and get a takeaway coffee from the coffee shop, the Riverbank Cafe, but they don't do takeaway apparently. So there you have it. Yeah, so back down the road, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers, bye.